It's time once again to go racing.
The pressure is really on now.
And it's pole position.
And it's pedal to the metal. Go, go, go!
Good evening, everybody, and welcome along to PlayStation PSGL Season 29. This is round 4 of the F2 tier, and we follow the real-life F1 calendar once again as we head to Zandvoort for the Dutch Grand Prix. Will we see someone like Max Verstappen from the Netherlands win his home Grand Prix like he did yesterday? Only time will tell. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me, as per usual, we got Owen White. How are you doing tonight, Owen?
Hello Jess, hello viewers. Wonderful day today. I'm looking forward to this race. We've got a very entertaining grid and looking forward to seeing if Wouters can make it 3 wins in 3 starts.
Yes, we were at Belgium last week, which was a winter's race, as it were. We were thinking that it was going to dry up, but it ended up not, which was very, very interesting. And we could see changeable conditions here this race as well, because the last time we were here, season 28, VRT Guild took his first win of the season then. And it was changeable conditions back then as well. It started off dry, went to intermediate conditions towards the end of the race. That's what we saw in France this season as well, and we saw that in the PC Top 2 on Thursday. We had rain-affected sessions in every circuit so far this season, apart from Bahrain, so I hope the drivers are prepared with whatever is thrown at them today, because you never know what might happen. The circuit has hosted 31 races so far in Formula 1's history, first in the F1 calendar back in 1952, where we saw Alberto Ascari took the win in the Ferrari, and the last F1 win before Max Verstappen won yesterday was the late Niki Lauda, so that was great to see. But we got a full grid, a few reserve drivers here today, a few people can't make it, and we got a few legends in this lobby as well, so great to have them on board. And we're quite a few people on the medium, so I don't think we're going to have a wet start to the race at least. So that's a first we've seen in a while, actually, not a rain-affected session. But you never know, things could change. There's a few people about to start their laps for qualifying now, and let's hope this session is close as last week.
Well, people on mediums right now, they'll be just using those tires for banker laps. Last year they would have been using the likes of the hards, but of course this year you can only have one preset, which is 3 soft and 1 medium, so that'll be what they'll do all their bankers on. So that means you could get rain actually, because it would mean that's pretty much confirming we'll all be qualifying on the softs. But we'll see how they get on as the session progresses. Hadler in the Aston Martin was the first one to get out on a lap. He's just headed through the first sector now and into the middle sector. As we saw on the F1 yesterday, and we've seen in league races here in the past, not the easiest track to overtake on. Pretty much only really turn 1 and 3 look good for overtaking, possibly even the chicane at 11 and 12. But apart from that, quality position is going to be vital today. And we'll see how they all get on as Wouters. Obviously, let's say he's going for a 3rd victory in 3 races. He wasn't here for the 2nd race of the season, but he won the season opener and won last week in Belgium. And we'll have to be keeping an eye on him, because he could be eyeing up an F1 driver at some point. But as long as he's here, he's wanting to win. And his teammate crosses the line at 1 minute 9.0. That is the first lap of the day, beating Luca, who's on the medium, so that's not really too much of a surprise. And let's see how the championship leader's getting on. Wouters to the line. He's now beating his teammate. He's gone fastest. Hoping that's not my collection, or you've gone mute or something. I'll keep talking unless there's an issue. But Daniel Knight, P1 Netsky Knight, follows him. We've seen how quick he's been before. With that 108.7, he's now up to P1. fearing him quite a lot in other leagues. Luckily, I don't have to race him tonight. I can just sit and watch his dominance. But 108.7, and we'll see if that time gets beaten later on. We could get a lot lower on the times, but we've already beaten the real-life pole positions, so there you go.
There we go, and the track does get the most grippiest towards the end of the session. I saw someone that spun off. I believe that's an AlphaTauri. But if you're not on the track towards the end of the session, right at the end of the session, you're probably not going to get pole today as well. But we haven't seen much of Neski's full potential, really, because he hasn't scored many points as reserve, but there may be some people that drop out at the last second, and he may be called to get the F2 drivers, someone like the likes of Valters does very well in the next race. Because every season we had so far, pretty much this season 26, a lot of drivers are being promoted to F1. So you never know when the opportunity might arise, as certain things predicted in real life as well, where certain drivers got given the chance for one race. So we'll see, of course. Recon is on a lap. No, he's not on a lap at the moment, but I think he must have binned it early on. The driver who I feel like needs to hit the ground running. He's had pretty much 3 DNFs in a row. He was in F1 last season, not the start he would have hoped. And if he wants to be in F1 next season, to be honest, he needs to have a good race here today as well, as he goes through near towards turn 7 and 8 as well. And yes, I definitely agree that qualifying is going to be the most important, but the DRS zone, if you get that right, then you're probably going to gain a lot more time. And watch out for the ERS as well. I think a few people are going to run up before the banking, and I think I just commentator's cursed Recon there as he's binned it in turn 10 and 11. So that's the end of his qualifying, and he's going to be doing a last 2 at this race. So yeah, that's his qualifying done, unfortunately. I better shut up.
Yeah, that is dreadful luck for him. And obviously, he will be at the back regardless of what happens now. And as we said, it's so difficult to overtake here. One stop is a decent enough strategy around here as well, so you can't even really mess about with that and try and undercut people too much, as Corner goes second fastest. It's a tricky position that for Recon in the Alpine, but that's what happens when you get mistakes around here. It punishes you, and we've seen that once again here. Who else is on a lap then? Let's see if we can find anyone else. A lot of people are on out laps or in laps as it stands. I think Kazizel is on a flyer, currently sitting second in the standings, so let's see if he can set a good lap. He goes P5 just behind his teammate. We're already seeing, once again, very close gaps. It's become the norm here to see the gaps so close, which is always nice to see. And once again, we've only got that 2 tenths between the top 5. A few more drivers still out there as well. We've got Isu on a lap, and I believe he might actually be the only one at the minute who's on a flying lap, so we'll follow him round, I guess, and see how he gets on, because the rest, yeah, they're all on end laps, so we'll see how the Red Bull does, and he's actually backed off as well, so no one's on a lap.
Yeah, I'm quite surprised he's actually backed out of his lap then, because he was looking quite good in a little bit of the first sector, so he might have lost it a bit of time. But it's very important, I think, around this track to definitely get a lap in, because you don't really want to be starting at the back here, as a few people found out in real life yesterday. So Isu just needs to cross the line, but he's not doing too bad in the final sector, actually. So if he would have gained more time in the middle sector, he would have been absolutely fine. But it would have been, I think, in the 112s. Yeah, 112 too. But there's still plenty of this session to go. Kareem is on an out lap.
Zuko's gone spinning off in the middle sector. That ruins his lap. He was 6th, though, anyway, so he had a banker on the board. It's not like his teammate, where his best lap was 12 seconds off the pace. So he will be able to recover from that. That was down at 9, where Zuko lost it. And he will head back, I assume, just straight to the pits. Try and get a couple more runs done, but that's a shame. Doesn't else go wrong, but that's what happens when the cars are so on the edge. You touch the curve at high speed. It's become quite the feature of this game as Luca goes up to P2, that you'll just get turned around with the slightest little misstep, and it's something that the drivers clearly are still getting used to, but it's good to see them pushing limits anyway. We've got Benny coming round now, the final 2 corners for AlphaTauri. He is currently sitting down in P15. The last of the drivers just set a representative time so far, so let's see if he can get himself a bit further up. He does go into P8, and Netsky has started another lap, I've seen, so let's see how the current P1 driver will handle his second lap, shall we, in the Williams. Obviously, we've seen in the real-life Grand Prix weekend everyone hugging the outside line rather than the inside line, but you can tell it's very different here in the game. In fact, quite a lot of this track isn't quite the same as the real life. We might end up seeing some changes to this track next year's game, I suspect, because quite a lot of it's a bit unrealistic as it turned out. But still, the drivers are going to work with what they've got, and what Netsky's got is currently the fastest lap. He's got no real traffic to worry about for the rest of the lap, so he should have a clear enough run. Of course, this might not end up being the fastest time of the session, but he is currently up on what he's got so far, and that'll give him a nice platform to go into the final runs with. He should really be confirmed already a decent starting position. But let's see as he comes through the final 2 corners now. They're banking at the last turn. They had considered putting DRS here for the F1 cars in real life, but they aren't going to do that. And they aren't doing it on the game either. Doesn't really matter though. Netsky has gone even faster. 108.5, just about sneaked into the 0.5s there. And he's now over a 10th clear of Luca.
Cornet's about to start his next flying lap as well, as a few other drivers too, for a matter of fact as well. Brock doing very well in the Mercedes, replacing Lars, of course, who got moved over to F1, and his points as reserve get carried over to a full-time seat, and he did quite well in Belgium as well. One of the drivers of the day, definitely, and he's looking to score very well at the moment, but he's currently sitting down in 13th. But he's usually a driver, though, that is not really good at qualifying pace, but his race pace is amazing. So we're not going to see the last of him in this session, as I think he's backed off a little bit as well. No, he's not backed off a little bit. He's purple in the middle sector, but it's probably the game just lying to us. But he's got a slow McLaren that's moved out the way. That's probably Fabi on his out lap. So he heads towards the final 2 corners. A little bit slidey on exit there for Brock, but we'll see what he can do. Can he get above 13th place? 1:8.9, 1/10 quicker than his previous bets. That puts him in the alternate strategy pole position at the moment in P11. I wonder if he wants to stay there. I don't think Gil is happy with Brock beating him at the moment, because he was in P11 right now as well, but he's probably going to go into the pits. No, he's not actually. He's 1/10 quicker than his previous sector 2 time, so he comes towards the banking now as well as Netsky's teammate. Don't forget, reserves do not score points, so it's up to Gil tonight for the Williams duo. Williams did not score points in real life last night, but are they going to score tonight? Gil is currently sitting in P9 at the moment in the standings.
So we did see a few more timers coming in. Netsky's time though has held at the top, which is good to see at the moment. We'll see who else is on a lap. Suko hasn't spun this time, but isn't making an improvement so far. Can he find time in the last sector? Yes, he can. He's gone up to P5. Babi has gone up to P3, and Baraka, who picked up his first podium last week, is going to try and continue momentum. He will be starting a lap now. And here's a Red Bull. Which one's this? Iso, I think, is coming round as well. Luca's starting a lap. So we've got a few on there. Maybe feeling a slight tad out of sequence. CC Brain has improved, but still 4.7 seconds off the pace. Brock is pitting. This is his teammate as well. And who is next across the line? Let's see. There's a hat on a night lap, so I think actually Gil will be next, but he's also slow. Everyone's slow at the minute. So we'll see. I think it is only really Red Bull going for laps, and Isu nearly 2 seconds up so far in his middle sector, so it's definitely going to be a much more representative time, as he currently sits down in P16. And as he comes around the banking, nearly loses it just before the banking on the curb once again. High load equals a lot of sliding and potential spins, but he held it and he crosses the line. He does improve his time, but doesn't improve his position. And he will stay in P16 for the time being. And just want to see Benny. He's on a lap, like I said, as is CC Brain. But the others come to the final corner now. We know Luca, up in P4, has gained some time. He could go P2 with this. Let's see if he can go even higher. He does. Good final sector. He's gone P1. So that's definitely the fastest sector 3 we saw today. So far, that'll give Netsky something to worry about. As around the final quarter, CC Brain is pitting. Benny isn't improving so far, but even half a tenth in the last sector puts him into the top 10. But at this point, they are definitely out of sequence, and so maybe I'm not sure if they want to finish the laps. Benny will finish it though, and he goes P9, yeah, so he's got himself up into the top 10. And I do think, really, apart from Kareem at the minute in the Haas, we're all just sort of in a bit of a lull in a session. Kareem, the only one doing a lap on the mediums at the moment, so he'll be saving softs for the end because, as you can see, those mediums are just getting nowhere near the top 10. Absolutely nowhere.
Yeah, I'm a bit curious as to why he's doing that, to be honest, because there's only a few minutes left, I believe. I can't really see the clock ticking down because there's a yellow flag in Sector 2, which I believe is the Alfa Romeo moving out the way of the Red Bull. So I'm curious to see his thinking behind this, but maybe it might be that he wants to start on mediums, but yet again, mediums may not be the best option around here for some other drivers, but we've seen the guys in the higher tiers on PC try the softer mediums in some instances. For some people, it did work. Obviously, we don't know how it went in F1 because it was a dry to wet race, but we saw it for some of the F2 drivers on the PC side. As Kareem, I want to see what his lap time is on the mediums, or wonder if he's going to actually go into the pits, because if he goes and sets a lap now, there's no way he's going to have time to go at the end, because you will have to go out, I would say, within the 2-minute mark. So Kareem, yeah, he's going into the pits. No brainer for him really going into the pits. So that just leaves Brock, Hadler, Valters, Cornet and Netsky out on track for their out laps. And I think that is it. Valentin won't be setting a lap time because he's got a qualifying ban due to corner cutting in qualifying, and he's also got 2 license points added to his PSGL license points, so he will be the only driver not to set a lap time at the moment. So Recon won't be starting last, which is always a good thing, and Luca is looking to keep hold of his pole position, and I wonder if Netsky is going to respond to that. I'm curious to see why he's gone a bit earlier than everybody else, but he probably wants a clear track in front of him, because you never know, there could be some people that bottle it on the final lap. So getting a lap now is crucial for him. So let's see if he could get pole position. Now I think it'll be the third different pole position, as Suko, what's happened to him? 5-place grid penalty for illegal blocking. I believe that is blocking a Red Bull of either Izu or Luke. No, it's Izu, because Luke has just gone out. So that's not good for Suko. So I don't think he's going to get any points today, but he might prove us wrong. We'll see. Let's find out, as everyone is going out on track now.
So Hadler has started his final run already for Aston Martin. I think he was the first one out on track earlier on as well, so he's staying consistent to that. And he's leading the train of cars all on their final laps. Although saying that, Hadler has just backed off. And he's got time to do that, because I think we've got about 1 minute 20 in the session. It's hard to see. They've really got to let us see the clock when the yellow flag pops up, because these yellow flags are so pointless, and it's really frustrating as someone trying to stream and we can't see the time left. But I think Cornet is on a lap, and so he's going to treat this as his final try. He is going faster as well. Needs to find only a couple more hundreds here to find himself on pole, although I feel the car was sliding a bit in that chicane, and he's also felt that. He's also backed off on this lap. CC Brain, he's just started last lap. It wasn't actually him in that train. See, Benny's on a night lap as well. So I guess, right, Corner is going to start another lap then. So everyone's just abandoned their laps. Maybe that's their plan, I guess, to try 2 laps on their final runs and see if that helps as Corner starts his final try. And it has to be the final try this time. I'm trying to see the clock, but I'm sure it'll be under a minute now. It has to be, as he comes up through to the end of the first sector in his Mercedes. The yellow flags are for cars letting each other through, which really in real life is a white flag, but yeah, 25 seconds left on the clock. So people might be struggling to actually get to the line on time if they're still on night laps, like Fabi is, but I think he'd be alright. He's the last one on a night lap, so everyone will get a final run through. And it will be Corner who gets done first, so we'll see what the gap will be in the middle sector, as I see Ferrari's already backed off his lap, so that'll be whoever that is, their qualifying done. Cornet is down in the middle sector as well. He was up at this point on his last try, so he's really sort of abandoned the quick run to give it its full beans on this one, but perhaps the tyres were just dying out a little bit, and this might not actually be working out. CC Brain crossed the line in P10, Daniel in P7, and Suko is currently sitting 8th, but has a penalty incoming. People are now pitting. I believe we still have Hadler out there, though he's gone P6. We've got a Red Bull coming round. Luke is also into the pits. And Vouchers too. They all seem to be having some sort of problem out there, perhaps with traffic. Kareem's improving, but he's still only 17th. Yeah, more cars pinned. We got an Alfa Romeo, Baccara has or Baraka. I keep saying his name wrong. Apologies, but he's gone fourth anyway. And yeah, we got quite the underwhelming end to this qualifying session because no one's doing their laps. I don't really quite get what's happening there. But Fabi's now stayed P5, and I wonder if there was someone causing traffic issues. We know this track's notorious for it already, but no one is finishing laps. Is Gale, he's invalid, and, well, because I think he'd backed off, he had, yeah, so no one really did anything on their final runs, and that means that Luca, who's currently sitting in the pit lane, all nice and calm, is on pole position. I wonder, let's say, if people were complaining perhaps about some traffic, will there be someone's into the stewards with that? Because I have a feeling laps must have been spoiled a tad by it, but that's so bizarre. I've never seen an end of a qualifying like it when next to no one sets a quick time.
I've never seen that either. I was riding on board a few people in the final sector, and if you look to the track map as well, there was a huge train of cars trying to set their laps as well, and with that probably has ruined a lot of people's chances in getting the final lap in this qualifying session. But hey-ho, it's the end of the qualifying session now, so we have Luca from Netsky, from Cornet, from Baraka, Fabi, Kazizel, Valters, Hadler, Daniel and Brock complete your top 10. They'll have to start on the softs, if it's dry, of course. And we got Suko, Riza, CC Brain, Benny, Ashbest, Gil, Kareem, Izu, Recon and Valentine. They will have free choice of tyres going into the race, which should be very interesting indeed. Weather conditions, like we said, could play a massive factor as well. And we did see quite a lot of overtakes last season in F2, so I hope we get to see the same today. The drivers obviously have been warned about a few things in the stewards today. If I can actually find the stewards report, because there was a few reported incidents last week from F2, which was quite less common actually than you may think, because usually the F2 drivers are quite good. So I'm just trying to have a look now. The pit entry and pit exit is very, very important. I think a few drivers are going to be a bit wary about that tonight, and they've been warned. Crossing the right painted area separating the track and the pit entry with 4-wheel or more is prohibited, and crossing the solid right line separating the track and the pit exit with a 4-wheel or more is prohibited as well, and will result in a time penalty. So that is the briefing for the I think that was the only important thing that was reported in the stewards briefing today. So hopefully people don't get caught out for that. And Valters, he's going to find it very, very hard to win this race, I think, today, because he's starting lower than he started last week. I believe he started P3, so it's going to be a tough ask, but we could see a different winner today. The only other winner, apart from Valters, has been Lars, but we know Lars has moved to F1, so Lars is not here. So apart from Valters, no one on this grid has won this season, so it's going to be a tough ask for Valters. But if he does win today, it will be, I think, a sensational win at least. But looking at the tyres, everyone outside the top 10 has gone for the medium tyres. No one has opted for the hards. That is interesting.
This is one of the tracks that last season, on the last game in general, a lot of people had complained about being too OP on the alternate strategy, and this is what we're going to see from everybody outside that top 10. I wonder if we'll see one of those drivers win the race. Could be the potential, but we won't jump to any conclusions on that one just yet, but it is just worth pointing out that people were very much aware that that was a thing that could happen. But, gotta be said, Corner must be pretty happy sitting in P3. I'm probably questioning, well, why on earth would he be happy about that? Third place has consistently, in this tier, been having the best starts, leading into turn 1, I think, in all of the 3 races so far. They might not have kept their leads the whole time, but certainly into Bahrain, Valtteri had started third, he led into turn 1, quickly lost it, but still led there. And then in round 2, I think it was, Baraka, well, he started third and he led into turn 1, and then Valters again last week, third on the grid, led into turn 1. Is that trend going to continue once again for Corner? He'd certainly be hoping so, but it's Luca and Netsky on the front row. A very short run towards turn 1, but a decent corner for overtaking at the start. You can go easily side by side through there, and so this will be quite the start. But yes, as you say, James, half the grid on mediums. You tend to see a bit more variety than that, but that's simply because they seem to feel this track, and I'd agree with him, is one for the alternate strategy, and this is why they're all going to be doing it. And they've got to just stay close to the leaders in this first stint, and it could play a big part into one of these guys outside the top 10 winning the race. But Valentine is parking up on the grid, his first track action of the day, having not taken part in qualifying, and we're going to see the lights come up. Hopefully they come nice and quickly this time. Sometimes there's a bit of a delay on it, but they're coming straight on. And we've got 5 lights here at Zandvoort. It's Luca from Netski. And we are away. Let's see how they all get on towards turn 1. It's a decent start from Netski. He's gone straight through into the lead. Baraka as well is down the inside of Luca. Can he get through? He's certainly up to 3rd place already. But Netski with the perfect start straight into the lead for Williams. Bit of side-by-side further back, but they're all being relatively sensible. Reese is trying some moves on the inside of 3, but we know how many different lines you can take around here as we all head through the end of the first sector. It is Netski from Luca and Barak.
Yeah, lots of moves going there at the moment as well. We got a yellow flag. I think someone has binned it. That is Valentine, who's had a qualifying ban in this race, and he's got a damaged front wing, so not quite the race he would have hoped, and probably Gutestein is probably being very mad right now. But yeah, the one who started P3 corner did not get the start he would have hoped either. He dropped down into 4th place, so I think the P3 winning mentality in that one is probably cursed, unfortunately. So Cornet will have to try and see if he can get past Baraka. I think the only move you can actually get after lap 1, I think, is turn 1, and then maybe into turn 3 if you're lucky. So Cornet's going to really hope for that as well. Hadler's looking quite good in the Aston Martin as well, but Daniel looking good trying to get past Valve, so I'm not sure if he's ghosted on my screen or not. But it is probably the timing tower being very annoying again, so we'll see. Suku's get past Benny, so he's making his way up the grid. Don't forget he's got a 5-place grid penalty, and we see he tried to get the move past into turn 3, but unfortunately he could not make it stick there. We got the other Williams of Gill, won last season, but he's not going to win this season, unfortunately, with him in P16.
So once again, the order's just sorting itself out. I was wondering if Baraka had fell down. He is certainly being pressured by Corner, but he is definitely ahead of him. Luca as well was getting close to Netski. We've said it a few times this season now that the deployment on the ERS is a lot more lenient on this game. It means you can race a bit better. I'm not too sure why it's saying Baraka's ERS has been fully deployed though. That seems a rather weird issue to have this early into the race, and wondered that might just be a glitch. We'll see that resets itself at the start of the next lap, because certainly with that much ERS left, I don't think he has used all his deployment, but we'll have the DRS on this lap, and yeah, his ERS has sorted itself back out again, but yeah, hopefully he doesn't end up running out again. And Netscape being challenged by Luca, who does seem to be the faster driver. It's not really by much, but if he can get a run, he'll certainly try and go for the moves. Reese is the driver leading the fight for the track position of the alternate strategy drivers. Valentine pitted for hards. And I'm just going to say, I wonder if he had come together with Isu on the way up the hill, because it was those two who were sent spinning off at the end of the first sector. And obviously, Isu got away with no damage, but it's trying to catch up to the pack. So I don't know if we'll see that go to the stewards or not, but that might explain why those two were so far back. But first time we'll see DRS, Luca on the back of Netski, and you can see how difficult it is to catch up to someone to make an overtake. You really would need him to make a mistake on the exit of 10 to have a try into 11. So as you say, Jess, it might be turn 1 and 3 that might be the best chances for overtaking.
Yeah, so we may get a possession race for some of these drivers as well, and all it takes is for something to spice things up, like a safety car, because you never know that we could have a safety car, which we've seen in quite a few tiers already, which could change everything as well. Luca was a lot closer that lap to Netski, but unfortunately still not getting the grip that he needs to get past as well. We got a train from P1 all the way down to, I'll say, P17 really. The only one that's having a mare is Izu and Valentine down in P19 and 20. Everybody else still mathematically in a chance of winning this race, and all it takes is for someone to go for the move, and then everyone else will go for a move as well. Cornet looking good on the back of Baraka right now, heading towards the turn 7, 8 and 9 complex now as well. Netski's probably used to leading the race in other leagues, but he's definitely not used to leading races in PSGL, which I have to say is a big league compared to some of the other leagues, and he must be feeling feeling happy with himself right now. I thought I saw someone going for a move there into turn 11, but I didn't see that. I wonder if Cornet's going to go for a move into turn 1. He's looking feisty at the moment. Same with Luca as well for Netsky. So we'll follow Luca first as we head past the banking now. I think Netsky wants to try and move out the way he can, but Luca's getting a brilliant entry into turn 1. He's going to go to the right-hand side. I think Easy does it for the Red Bull driver. I wonder if Cornet's going to do exactly the same thing, which he does not. So Luca is now the leader of this race, but I wonder if Netsky wanted the DRS in the next few laps, because we all know that the soft tyres will start to die out very, very soon. But easy move for Luca, and he's now in the lead of this race.
Track position, though, is key, and if Netsky's doing that on purpose, as we see Kareem going round, then that's a silly thing to do, I think. I hope he's... Yeah, I hope he's not struggling with the pace, Netsky, but like I say, I don't think he'd want to voluntarily give up the lead, because like I say, ERS isn't really that big an issue. But as long as you defend it into turn 1, you can save that ERS the rest of the lap, so I don't really see what was stopping him from holding the lead. I'm sure he's got some master plan I don't know about, but I would have thought that you'd want to stay in the lead, so maybe it's Luca being the more aggressive one, just saying, I want this. But we'll see. The VSC coming in might play a part here into maybe someone making a move into turn 1 if it comes at the right time and someone predicts it correctly. You can see Luca's went a bit early. He's had to put the brakes on. But I think his gap will be okay. Then I'm going to try and pit, like I say. But the way the strategy is, I'd be surprised if Valters is going to. And so that would suggest the VSC will be like long enough for him to make the pit stop and make it feel justified.
Oh.
So we saved a couple of seconds there coming into the pit lane. And he shouldn't come out in any massive traffic. He's onto the mediums, and so this should work out relatively well. It could cycle him to the front as Kareem retired in the pit lane. As long as Valters keeps the pace up, then this should work out, and he could be on for another victory this season, so we will follow his progress.
Yes, but him pitting now for a set of mediums, I would say, is far too early. Usually you would pit a little bit later on into the race as well, so that might strongly suggest something else could happen in the race too. You never know. So Valters, I am definitely intrigued to see his progress, because if he makes those mediums work to the end, that'll be brilliant. I thought he would have gone on the hards, to tell you the truth, but because the hards would have got to the end around here. Hards last about pretty much most of the race, actually, 25 laps. So again, it's going to be tough going for Valters, but he is the championship leader for a reason. He's currently leading the championship by quite some way at the moment to some of his championship rivals, of course. Kazizel in second, I believe it's a 32. He's on 32 points at the moment. Is Valters, as Valentin has gone for another spin. Haas not looking too good at the moment, are they? They're looking like they're going to score no points. Currently the only team in PSGL F2 to score no points, just like in real life, really. Everyone else has got a point to their name, with Aston Martin leading the way on 46 points, and they're currently sitting 8th and 18th, but Valters obviously has pitted already, so I wonder if he's trying to cover off his teammate as well. So I wonder if the drivers know something that we don't about this strategy, but I almost feel like Valters has probably played the strategy wrong, but if it's going to rain later, he may have played this perfectly, but we'll see.
Donetsky has held onto the back of Luca quite comfortably, so I don't think he's really struggling with the pace. I don't know, I'm not going to try and predict what he's trying to do. If it was me, I would have tried to stay in the lead, but maybe Luca was, like I said before, just trying to be aggressive enough to make sure he was the leader, but we'll see how Netsky goes as Valentin in the pit lane does make it a double DNF for the Haas boys. Valters is, like I say, in plenty of clean air as Benny makes a move on the inside of Ash Best, and so he'll be able to pump in some pretty quick lap times for Aston Martin, and Benny's actually let Ash Best back through, and Suko's now trying to go run his outside, so that's plenty of fighting going on in the midfield. I wonder why he let him back through, the AlphaTauri driver. Perhaps it was a legal overtake or something, but I'll be surprised. Unless the game put a yellow flag on the main straight for the Haas retiring, which would be a bit silly. But at the front, Cornet is still challenging, as is Netsky. And Netsky, it feels like he wants the lead back, and he's going to get it. So he's now going to go towards turn 11, try on the outside, And I assume Luca's not going to fight it too hard. So Netsky has decided he wants to lead back, and he's taken it for Williams. And all this scrapping, they don't want to scrap too hard. That's why Luca sort of just backed off, because they know that Valters is on a potentially very helpful undercut, and so they just want to make sure they keep their pace consistent. And Netsky now, back where I think he should have really been the whole time, in the lead of the race. And is Baraka going to try anything on Luca? Oh, wow, he might try it now as Luca breaks too late into turn 1. Baraka now side by side towards 3, and Luca's got away with that one, as he nearly hit the race leader, nearly lost second place. And Valters, as I expected in the clean air, has set the fastest lap of the race. I'd say it's pretty much guaranteed to be leading the race now after all these guys pit. But if he can get by Isu pretty quickly, that'd be very encouraging for him, because he doesn't want to get stuck behind that Red Bull for too long. But right now it's all looking pretty good for the Aston Martin driver. The championship leader, of course, who's won 2 out of 2 races he started this season.
Yep, no one is able to manage that feat the way that Valters is doing. Cornet and Baraka are going for a move before the DRS straight. Baraka looking very slidey again. So Fabi may be in the picture as well. We got the 2 Ferraris fighting in the background of Kazizel and Daniel. The battles are starting to happen all over the shop, with Netsky and Luca battling earlier. Is, I think, triggering everybody else to be like, you know what, I'm going to be battling too as well, as they all wait towards the final corner to start their next lap. Let's see what Baraka could do with his ERS deployment and his DRS, because he's got plenty of ERS at the moment, heading towards turn 1, as Luca being a bit squirmy again. That might give Cornet another position. So Cornet's back to where he started. Baraka into 4th. Fabi and Kazizel.
That's an accident.
That almost ended in tears, and they were banging wheels just a little bit as well. Maybe the 2 Ferraris could fight for it and play a massive team game. We saw that when George Russell was fighting with Ricciardo and Norris, I think, and McLaren were playing a beautiful team strategy to get Lando to back them up into Lando Norris, I believe, yesterday. So I wondered the 2 Ferraris are playing something similar. Here comes Kazizel, the guy who is chasing Valters for the championship at the moment. Could not get past Fabi, unfortunately, but Fabi, beautiful defensive work from him. Daniel, who's only his 2nd race in PSGL, try to get past his teammate, can't do so on this occasion. I think Matteo Binotto, I think, is going to let them race at the moment, because they are racing very hard right now. Daniel, I think, is looking very poised to take a move out of all the other drivers on this grid so far. Maybe Luca or Netsky, as we did see a few people in the pits. 1 McLaren, that's Fabi, and we got Baraka as well in the pits. Will be interesting to see what tyres they go on to. I wonder if it's medium. I'm almost, yeah, both of those are on medium tyres. And if we saw what happened in PCF2, those just about got to the end. So I think those 2 will be fine getting those mediums till the end of the race. And that will probably leave a bit of a pickle for the top 3, because they probably have to think about pitting soon as well. Same with the 2 Ferraris and Haller and Brock. But the 2 Ferraris, both of them could not pit at the same time. So I wonder if Kazizel will have pit lane priority as he's the first car, or will Daniel be covering off his teammate? We'll find out soon. But the top 3 almost certainly will be pitting at the end of this lap.
Fabi's gone, he's out of the race. That could be a safety car, and I tell you what, that would save them quite a lot, because Valters had jumped Baraka and Fabi as he had passed Isu on track. He was flying along, but that does bail out the front runners, and I guess that is the risk of trying the undercut. But surely now everyone is going to be into the pit lane, apart from possibly the other medium runners, but obviously they'll be going for sauce later on. Don't know how they feel about this for their strategies, because it's sort of that's hard for the Red Bull actually of Lucas, so he's going for hard while Corner's going for mediums. What the rest going to go for? Netsky's on to the mediums, and pretty much everyone's on the mediums apart from Luca. Ferrari are stacking, but it's worth it in this situation, because if we're going to lose that track position anyway. Sadly, Daniel is being held up quite considerably at the moment, but he does finally come back out. Valtter's pitted again, so he'll just stick a new set of tyres on. His strategy now proving to not have worked, unfortunately, but it was a decent strategy right up to the point where the safety car came out. I think he would have led the race, but now he's going to be on new tyres. So, people who went to hards: Luca, Reset, Suko, Ash Best, Gil, and Recon. That is interesting to me. I'm surprised that many went onto mediums, thinking that I guess they can go to the end on them. Well, that Yeah, we'll see how it works out. Obviously, Isu's gone to the softs,
Oh.
so he's trying something completely different there. But yeah, we'll see how all these strategies work out. The only two drivers to stay out are the AlphaTauris of CC, Brain, and Benny. I'll assume some of the people on hards were initially on the mediums. Luca, I think, might actually be the only odd one out, because he was going from soft to hards rather than mediums to hards, because obviously you can't go from medium to medium if you're doing a one-stop. And so that explains the hards out there. But Luca doing something different. I'm not too sure it's going to help when you're sitting in third place now. Obviously, Corner had jumped him. So, yeah, we'll see how Luca's race goes from there. But I have a feeling he may have made some sort of a strategy error there. But we'll see how it works out later on.
I think Luca may not be as confident as the other drivers on doing the soft to medium strategy, because for some drivers it's a bit hit and miss, but these are high quality drivers, so I'm almost certain they're going to make it work, and Luca not taking the risk as the other drivers. But yeah, that does explain why some people have pitted. Valter's pitted again for a set of medium, so I don't think he was confident in taking the mediums he had before to the end of the race, and he wasn't going to lose that much anyway because he was in 16th anyway, so for him it's a no-brainer for him to box now. So for everybody else, it's going to be until the end of the race for these guys that they're going to be staying on those tyres for. No one's on the soft. Izzy decided that he made that mistake and he's gone into the pits for the mediums as well. So it's kind of like it's not really an even split. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 drivers on hards, everyone else on mediums, but with the AlphaTauris yet to pit, they're going to be, I think, down in last position at the end of it, because they should have gone on hards, but I'm guessing they're probably committing to the soft strategy. We know that CC Brain likes the alternate strategy. He tried in season 26 in Japan and he won that one, but I don't think that's going to work today, my friend. But you never know what could happen with CC Brain and Benny. We've seen some instances before around Zandvoort, but I think everyone has caught up, so the safety car should be coming in very soon. If it's not this lap, it'll probably be the end of next lap. Oh, it is in this lap. So CC Brain will be one leading the field away until the safety car line, as the safety car is going faster to let CC Brain back, basically back the field up to get green flag racing once again, Owen.
So AlphaTauri then 1-2 as it stands. I guess they'll be happy that they'll be going onto the soft tires at the end of the race. But quite whether they'll be able to make anything of it, we'll have to wait and see. It is only lap 13 out of 36, mind you. We've got a long way to go. But CC Brain is making them wait for it as he heads around the final banked turn. His teammates all in the air, just ready for him to go, which he has done now. They're both looking relatively clear. Netsky's still heating the tyres up, and looks like Luke is already going to try and get by one car as he goes round the outside of a corner. And I think it might cost him to Gazizzle if he's not being too careful. He's been a bit boxed in by the Mercedes and the Ferrari, and it's going to help Gazizzle get through. Will he try and get around corner as well? This helps his championship if he can get through, but he hasn't quite managed it. And Luca now gets a really decent run. As we can see, Netsky as well is all over the back of Benny. This is crucial for his race too, as he goes right round the outside of the dive, and he does get through into second place. So that's good driving. Gets one car between him and the Mercedes straight away. Brock has gone off in the other Mercedes, so he's going to fall right down, probably behind Ash Best. But Gazizzle definitely ahead of Luca Knight, who was trying to be aggressive on that start, but just didn't quite make the move stick. And Gazizzle, good driving to set a net P3 at the moment. Valters is now already up into 12th place, so he's being nice and aggressive as well.
Yes, because don't forget he was in 16th as well, so Valter's already having a brilliant safety car restart. I kind of wish he would have repeated it earlier on, but he's looking to get another move on VRT Gill, which is on the hard compounded tyres. And don't forget the hards and the mediums are considerably different in terms of the tyre delta, so this should be an easy move for Valters. We also got Benny and Cornet going for a move up front as Cornet gets past Benny. Oh, as Benny goes into the grass, and he's being pressured by the Ferrari of Gazizzle as well. So that's another position for Gazizzle up into 4th place. Baraka could get Luca here on the outside. He's going to the left-hand side, actually, but he thinks better of it, because that would have been very brave if he got that move stuck. So I don't see many people make moves around here, but it looks like Baraka is the faster driver, but Luca is on the hard compounded tyres. Hards 1.164 seconds slower than the softs, and between the mediums and the hards, is around about, it's only a 5/10 difference, so not too much, but 5/10 can make all the difference towards the end of the race as the mediums get more degraded towards the end of it. So I think Luca will be alright at the end, but for now, he's probably going to have to settle for 7th, I think, because Baraka, I think, probably will get past. But we'll see if Luca gets past Benny anyway into turn 1. But I think he's going to worry about Baraka first, and I think it's going to be an easy slam dunk move for him as DRS is enabled this lap. He's going to hold on to the right-hand side line into turn 1. Luca's not making this look easy for these two drivers, and Baraka eventually gets past Luca up into 6th place, and I think Daniel's going to do something similar next lap as well. Cornet is finding it a lot, very, very tricky to get past CC Brain right now, so that is good news if you're the Williams of Netsky, trying to increase your lead to your main rivals of Cornet, Kazizel and Baraka, and most importantly Luca, who was the guy who he was battling with. But Luca's all the way down in a net P6 at net P5 right now, so not the way the safety car restart he would have wanted for Luca, but he's probably going to be more better towards the end of the race.
Netsky then, he got by CC Brain at the start of the lap. Crucial to get that done because obviously it keeps Corner just behind, but I think Corner will get through CC Brain quick enough to the point where he'll still be able to get DRS on Netsky, but we'll wait and see because it is a bit touch and go at the moment. It depends how hard CC Brain decides to fight this, really. Kazizel, fastest man on the track. Don't think he'll be going for any moves on Corner yet either, because I think they're both just going to be focused on the task at hand, which is getting by CC Brain. Netsky obviously will be enjoying the free air as long as it lasts. Baraka as well is trying to get by Benny at the moment and not quite able to do it just yet. He nearly lost it trying to go around the outside on the previous lap, I think around Luca. Was looking to keep that going, so he's not going to try anything like that again anytime soon. Corner is just stuck as it stands, because sadly, if this had all happened before DRS came out, then Corner would have probably got by CC Brain a lot more easily, but now since CC Brain can leech onto the DRS, he's obviously looking to stay in this position as long as possible so that when he pits for the softs, he will be in a better position. But yeah, I'm not sure Netsky's going to complain too much about it. Let's see if Baraka can get through Benny. Nothing being done for him at the minute. We're just seeing all the trains starting to build up again. And I think Corner has a good chance so he can get a good exit now out of the banking. On to the start-finish straight. He hasn't got much ERS to use though. CC Brain has more, and so he's able to use it just to keep up with Netsky, who obviously doesn't get DRS at all as Baraka now gets past Benny. Luca just needs to sit back and watch him drive away. I think these hards, unless they turn on at the end of the race, I have a feeling this might not be the best strategy, but we'll see how it works out. But I'm not 100% sure this is working. Look at this, he's got Daniel all over him.
Yes, I think the ones on the mediums to hard strategy, they had no other choice really to put under the safety car, because otherwise they would have been in the same position as CC Brain and Benny. But for Luca as well, he's probably regretting this decision because Daniel could get the move soon in the next DRS straight. So Luca may miss out on points, but you never know. There's some races, for example, where we had 2 safety cars, so there could be a late safety car to spice things up. Everybody could potentially go onto the softs, and then Daniel could be back in this race. But for Luca could be back in this race, but for now, he's got a hungry Daniel who's wanting to get past Benny as well. So he could get past 2 cars in the space of 2 laps at this rate. His ERS is looking very good though, so this should be a good move. He's not using his overtake yet though, is Daniel, so I don't think he's confident to get the move just yet. Neither is Luca on Benny. Cornet's looking brilliant on CC Brain at the moment, but I'm almost certain CC Brain is trying to back the field up anyway to allow Benny to not have that much of a gap when he goes in into the pits. Luca has got Daniel again all over him, so yeah, I think the hards are really starting to come into effect. I wonder when CC Brain is going to pit. I think I would say, in order for the softs to work, I would say lap 24. I think CC Brain will come in, same with Benny as well, and then they could take the softs to the end from then. But saying that, they'll probably pit a few laps earlier just to prove me wrong. But we'll see with CC Brain and Benny to see if those softs could make it last, because I'm almost certain they could still get some solid points. But with the train being so close, who knows what might happen.
So the problem that Netski's, well, it's a problem and a positive at the same time, is that Netski can't pull away from CC Brain because CC Brain keeps getting the DRS to catch back up. But as long as Netski knows it is CC Brain who's catching up to him, it knows that that means as many pits. It means that Cornet isn't getting by CC Brain either, so Netski actually will hope that CC Brain stays there as long as possible because it backs Cornet up into Kazizel and potentially could of Netski when CC Brain decides he wants to pit. Benny's come back out on track. He's in a lot of free air. We saw what Valtters was like in this situation earlier on, but it's going to be even faster for Benny now. And CC Brain will be a couple more seconds down the road, I'd imagine. I guess he'll pit probably this lap if he sees his teammate in before him. And we'll see if AlphaTauri's different strategy works out. Because the problem is, you'd say, oh, well, they could do a safety car to catch up, but that wouldn't help them. They need it to actually stay green now all the way to the end, because if they get a safety car, well, everyone's going to pit, and then they'll be at the back, regardless. So they actually need this to stay green. I'm not too sure how many positions are actually going to gain. I guess they'll be looking at trying to get into the fringes of the points here. But as you can see, the gap now between first and third is over a second, and CC Brain's still staying out, so that's music to Netski's ears, as he just holds up the Mercedes and the Ferrari even more. You can see that Cornet's looking for a gap, but there's nothing to be done to get by CC Brain as it stands. And this is the thing with the DRS train here at Zandvoort. You just cannot pass.
Nope, you can't. It's kind of like some other tracks as well. Hungary, when there's a DRS train, there's not many DRS zones in Hungary anyway, where you can hardly overtake either, and that just becomes a train in itself as well. But for Zandvoort, is a lot harder, so that's why Netski's in a perfect position, because he qualified quite well. Cornet qualified quite well in third as well, but look at the pace he's doing compared to CC Brain. The crossover point is definitely right now for those old mediums, so CC Brain is definitely doing the alternative to Benny, and I think Benny's probably telling in CC Brain's ear, right, what are these softs feeling like? And Benny's like, oh, are they good or are they bad or something like that? So I don't think the softs lasted very long for some of these drivers, so Benny might be in a pickle, but we'll see with Cornet lining up CC Brain. He doesn't have to, as CC Brain is coming, and I'm almost certain that's going to be for a set of softs. That frees Kazizel and Baraka, Luca and Daniel to fight their merry ways. Rizze, I have to say, doing a very good job. I believe he started P11 or something like that, and he's all the way up to 7th, so he's had a good start. Suko had an even better race so far. He started near the back, so he had a 5-place grid drop. He's all the way up into 8th place, so we could get some good points. But he's got the chasing Valtters for company as well on the mediums, as well as Gil and Hadler too. So, yeah, some big movers in this grid already, and the safety car may have helped them. Ideally, they would have wanted to go on the softs anyway, but for Rizze and Suko, they're doing well on those hard compounder tyres.
Yeah, it's good stuff from them. Like I said, that the alternate strategy would help. Cornet is driving the lap of his life right now to try and stay within DRS and Netski, and he's struggling. It's his fastest first sector and second sector compared to his best lap. But can he just keep in the DRS? Because 9/10 with this little ERS, it's just not a comfortable place to be. And if Kazizel was aware how little ERS his rival had, he hasn't got much better, but it is enough to try and attack at some point. Cornet, I think, will have done enough there, but he's got to start saving the ERS. The top three seem to be in a league of their own as Suko goes through on reset into turn 1. Valtters now on the back of them, trying to find a way through himself. He currently finds himself 6.4 seconds off the lead, and honestly, with the pace he's got, who knows where he could go today. He is flying out there. Plenty of time to go. CC Brain now is on the back of Brock, who had spun on the safety car restart, remember. And we'll see if he can get through.
Valtters is going for a move on Rizze into a very tricky corner. Has he got the move stick? He does get the move stick. Bravo to Valtters, our championship leader. He's championship leader for a reason, and Rizze has spun there. I think the pressure got to him there, but I have to say, Valtters is showing why he's the lead of the championship at the moment with that move there. And it may have been that Rizze was struggling, but again, Rizze is on the hards compared to Valtters, who is on the mediums. And I think Brock has got past him as well. And I think CC Brain is almost certainly going to get past him on those fresh softs as well. Valters is definitely a man on a mission. So is Cornet as well, up in second place. Kazizel too. There's loads of people still in contention for the win of this race. Fasten your seatbelts, folks. Make sure you stay tuned for the rest of the stream, because there could be still twists of the tail yet. We never know. At the moment, the way this is going, we may see Valters taking a third win, or we could see a new race winner. We could see a reserve taking a win, which is probably unheard of in the wild, but that will prove to everybody that Netsky would deserve a full-time seat should a seat become available, of course, or he may have wanted to become reserve, in which case then he's probably happy regardless. But I believe he's attended all races so far apart from Bahrain. He wasn't called for Bahrain, unfortunately, but all the other races he is here, and this is the race where he's definitely made his mark. He's probably used to the game already, but he's not used to the fact that Cornet is chasing him like no tomorrow. Same with Kazizel as well. Kazizel could be leading the championship if Valters stays in the P8. So this is a crucial position for Kazizel to be in right now. Ideally, he wants to get past Cornet, but looks like Cornet is definitely a mile ahead of the rest of the field right now. But now I don't think Kazizel's going to get the job done. But at least they got a comfortable gap between the top three and Baraka, who's about 2.3 seconds behind Kazizel right now. But he's under threat from Luca once again. So maybe the memes are starting to be at the optimum temperature for Daniel, as Luca again struggling. But he's still in 5th place, so in a way, Luca's doing not too bad, but he kind of wishes he was on the mediums. But hey ho, you got to do what you got to do for the Red Bull driver. But, you know, still a long way to go in this race with pretty much 11 or 12 laps of this race to go.
Luca's gone. He saved it, but Daniel has got through. This is just disastrous as it stands for Luca. He's got zero grip. He's been challenged by Daniel multiple times in the last lap, and finally he's got through. Luca must be hating this. I'm sure there'll be some point later in the race where these tyres become better. At least he's now got a 2-second gap, but the problem is Valters will be past Suko in no time, and then 5 seconds behind all that, CC Brain's running around in clean air. Luca might find a lot of cars thinking about getting his position, so he needs these hard tyres to start coming into their own, and it needs to happen soon, as Cornet continues to catch the race leader. The front three really are in a league of their own. I think it's Baraka who's sort of struggling as Valters gets up to P7. Like I say, it feels like Baraka's just struggling for pace today and not able to keep up as Benny sets a faster lap. So the AlphaTauri boys, they are absolutely flying along. And yeah, we'll see if they can get themselves to the points later on. But now Valters finds himself in 2 seconds of clean air. Let's see how quickly he can catch up to Luca, who's already falling away from Daniel at quite the rapid pace. As long as he stays in the DRS zone now, he should be able to stay on the back. But as soon as he falls outside that 1 second, he'll just lose touch.
Yeah, we will. So I think these drivers have got to get a move on, of course, as well. And Baraka, who got that podium last week, doesn't look like he's going to get a podium this week either. But it's all about the consistency. He may not mind getting P4 on the road, but usually P3 is worth a few more points than P4. So yellow flag, that is an AlphaTauri. That is Benny into just before the DRS straight, but I don't think he's got damage, so he's carrying on his merry ways. Cornet's looking good on Netsky again, but Netsky's just pulling away like no tomorrow. Netsky's having the time of his life right now. He's pretending that probably only himself is there at the moment, but I'm sure he's got his mirrors in tune with the likes of Cornet and Kazizel behind him as well. And I'm just seeing, is Luca out of DRS range yet? No, not quite, but he's almost out of range. Valters is catching like a rate of knots, I've got to say, so we'll keep an eye on the gap between Valters and Luca if Luca falls out of that DRS range as well. Daniel could get Baraka. I think I'm a bit worried for Baraka right now because Baraka is out of DRS, whereas Daniel has got plenty of DRS to use at his disposal. Not much ERS though, compared to, actually no, Baraka and Daniel are pretty much on the same ERS levels at the moment. So it's pretty much even Stevens on ERS, but DRS, it would be Daniel, but I don't think Daniel is going to go for the gamble there on Baraka. Maybe, like we said earlier, turn 1 will be the best opportunity right now. Daniel is the closest driver on track to getting a move out of anyone, because I don't think Cornet is going to get the move on Netsky, unfortunately. He's probably waiting in towards the end of the race. So we're riding on board with Daniel at the moment towards turn 1. He's going to brave the element into turn 1. dives it past Baraka. And to be honest, it was a question of when really for Daniel, and he gets past the yellow flag. Virtual safety car. Oh, what was that yellow flag for?
No front wing on Reese's car, lost it in the penultimate corner. And so he'll be back into the pit lane. He would have been hoping that was a full safety car actually, but at least he won't lose a massive amount of time replacing the front wing. Shame though for a driver who was having a good race up to really a couple of laps ago when it started to sadly fall apart with the spins. We'll see who reacts to the restart quickest because it could decide some DRS zones this. So we'll keep our eye on that green flag coming out because people will be all different points in their deltas at really any given time. You can see corners all over the back of Netsky, but then that gap will sort of widen again. But let's just see. Look out for the green flags. The VSCs tend not to last really longer than a lap. So it will be around now when they should be going back to green. So we'll see Netsky for the final corner. Just pulls a bit of a gap on corner. And corner, will he get a chance to use the DRS? This gives everyone a chance to save ERS at the very least. But yeah, no DRS opened under VSC, so there'll be no chance of moving to turn 1. Further behind, others look like they're starting to speed up as we're getting ready to go green. Baraka looks to the inside, but still no green flag. They're making us wait for it, aren't they? But eventually, they're going to have to be ready to go. They will get about a 5-second warning.
Oh,
Hadler, though, hasn't heeded the warning, and he's now nearly spun as well. And they were given plenty of time to prepare for that. I'm not too sure how he managed to get it wrong, but maybe he was under some pressure. That is a big train, but Hadler will have to take the brunt of that penalty, unfortunately. You've just got to be ready for the first start, and he was just a bit too preemptive of it. Because if you nail it, then you gain time, but he obviously didn't quite manage it. But the top 3 have all stayed relatively okay. The gaps haven't really changed too much, because sometimes you can mess about with it, but they've all kept good. They've all just got some ERS to use now, which corner might be happy enough with. Daniel as well now gets a chance to catch up. He's straight away setting pep up middle sectors, so he looks nice and fast out there. And Luca not being caught by Valtters really at all. That gap's been at 2.2 seconds pretty much ever since Valtters made the overtake on Suko. So I wonder if Valtters may still be rooted to 7. I think he'd still be championship leader after this, but still might want to try and get a little bit higher if he can, as Hadler goes straight in to take that penalty instantly.
I believe he was the only driver to pick up a penalty so far. No track limit penalty so far. In saying that, there'll probably be someone that gets it round about now, so I'm not going to say anything more, but it only took till lap 30 for someone to get a penalty, and it had to be Hadler. Goodness sake, he usually keeps it clean as well, but I fell victim of VSC penalties pretty much, not all the time, but there's a few occasions where I get caught out and it just ruins my race completely. So it's ruined Hadler's race, and he's going to be out of the points. So what a shame for the Aston Martin team, but Valtters it's probably going to still get points for them anyway. Valtters, I don't think he's going to get the win today. I think he's a little bit too further away from the leaders, so we will see a different winner today, but do not become complacent. Just because Netsky is in the lead now with Cornet in second and Kazizel in third, it does not mean they will stay there, because there's still around about 6 laps to go of this Dutch Grand Prix here at Zandvoort. We've got all the people that want to see the Dutchies do well. I believe Netsky's Swedish, I believe, so you know, they wanted to, Netsky wants to spoil the party, and we've got Cornet as well that wants to do very well as well, getting some more points for his team. Cornet, I think, will gain masses in the Drivers' Championship as well. I think he'll push Mercedes up as well. Brock gets past Ash Best. Does he actually? He tried to get past Ash Best. Ash Best holds his line. It's going to be very tight towards 3 and 4, but we'll see if Brock can hold that. Yep, he does. So Ash Best is down into 14th position. But at least Ash Best is still in his race. One of the drivers to not score a point so far this season. And he's not going to score points this race either. But there's still plenty around to do so.
Oh, Luca!
Baraka! Jesus! Luca almost hitting the back of Baraka there. Into the end of the DRS straight. That was very close to contact there. That could have been diffuser damage if Luca hits the back of Baraka. But it wasn't. I have to say, Luca's hard tyres are doing very, very well. Maybe it might be Baraka struggling. Baraka is in. No, he's not. Baraka is not in. Baraka's trying to get rid of the slipstream that Luca's trying to get in towards turn 1. This could be a very interesting fight between Luca and Baraka in the final few stages of this race. And we still got Kazizzle that could spoil the party, Cornet as well. Maybe they're just waiting till lap 34 and 5 to make the moves, because they're just not making the moves as of yet. They're just making us wait for it, like the VSCs and the safety cars earlier on as well. So, you know, this could be amazing stuff. These three are in a whole other level compared to the rest of the field. And Baraka is already out of DRS range of Daniel, unless Daniel has had a bit of a moment. But we'll see as Rise has picked up the first track limit penalty of the stream, of the race. So that's 3 seconds. Nobody else has got track limit penalties thus far, so that is good. But it's going to be hard for Baraka to get back in this fight. So really, I think it's mainly a three-way fight for the race win. And penalties is not taken to effect yet, as no one has got one. But I wonder if a few people are in one warning away of getting a penalty. As Cornet's looking very good on Netsky into turn 1. It's not brave in the elements though yet. I think it's going to be next lap that Cornet's going to go for the move. He's got to, really, if he wants to have a chance of this race victory. Let's see what he can do.
I do think he might try and surprise Netsky, as you say, pass on the next lap, because I guess Netsky's sort of thinking, well, he'll be preparing for a last lap overtake, and then when he sees him diving up the inside on lap 34, it might just spook him enough to give Cornet a chance. The home driver looking to try and bring home the victory. We'll see if he can do it, but as long as he stays this close, I think if he uses all the ERS he's got down that main straight, it should be enough to propel him fast, especially, like I say, if Netsky's not expecting it until perhaps the last 2 laps. So we'll follow Corner round at the moment, and we'll see if he will try and surprise Netsky on the next lap. I don't think he's got a massive amount to lose, but because the overtake, once you get down the inside of one, unless you have some proper catastrophe, you won't have an accident. But let's see, Netsky slides a bit for the last corner, but Cornet is not as close on this lap as he was last time round. He'll still close plenty, but there was no opportunity for a move this time round. Baraka's back into the DRS of Daniel, which might not be too good news for Luca, who's trying his best to get past him. Must still be ruining that decision to put the hards on rather than the mediums. It's just not working for him at all. And Valters isn't going to be challenging him though, so that'll be a fight for 6th place. Or for 5th place, I should say. While Valters holds the train out, so I believe that would still mean that if they finish 3rd and 7th right now, Valters would still lead the championship ahead of Kazizzle. So not a massive loss, but he would lose the 100% winning record. As we see the leaders then. ERS levels, I mean, Netsky's got a little bit less than Corner, and then Kazizzle's got a little bit less than Corner as well. So it is the Mercedes driver, the Dutchman, looking the best, and this is about as close as you'd want to be to go for a move. So let's see if Corner decides to do it, because he's got enough ERS now to have 2 proper goes at it. As he heads onto the main straight, he doesn't, he does go back onto the ERS. He went off it, but then decided to go back on later on. If he just stayed at pin for the whole main straight, he would have had a chance, but he will save this for the final lap as he heads through. Just needs to stay close as Suko tries to repass Valters right on the outside of 1. Doesn't quite make it stick. He's on the exit and just staying close. He's done very well so far in this race. He came from 16th position. We have a yellow flag for Reese who's gone round, and Brock and Ashbest, they're still fighting away. Mercedes versus McLaren, and it is the Mercedes that's coming out on top. I wonder if even Corner, if he stays this close, could even try and surprise Netsky into turn 11 and 12. If it really unsettled the Williams through the final sector, I mean, he probably wouldn't be able to come back at him on the main straight. That could be a tactic as well. But I think it's a bit too slidey for Corner out of 10, so it's going to have to be a last lap try into turn 1 or turn 11. And we'll see him go for this. Reese is pitting. I guess he'll try and get the fastest lap. I don't think he'll be able to get lapped, so he should be able to have time to go for that lap. I think he already has fastest lap, but he'll do it anyway. As Cornet comes around the last corner, he's used all the ERS he's got. Has he got enough to keep the gap closing in towards turn 1? It's going to have to be a brave dive around the outside, but I don't think he had enough ERS in that main straight. He possibly used a bit too much, and now Netsky still holds the lead. Corner will not be able to go to the inside of 3. There's absolutely no way that happens as Luca gets mugged. I think he might have had a collision. There's a few people off in Narnia. 3 wide. Suku's been sent spinning. We've got Red Bulls and Williams and
Gil.
another one gone wrong. Gil go wrong. We've got Alpines involved. God knows what went on there. But we'll see what maybe the drivers have to say about that one. But that seemed to have a potential for Suku trying to pass Valtters, I suspect. And that went wrong. But then Luca lost a load of time as well. So did he try and get Baraka? Either way, it's got Valtters, the championship leader, up another position. And it looks like this top three is all going to stay the same. Unless Corner does anything drastic in the last couple of corners. I don't see it happening as Reese slows down. Is he going to try and get himself lapped so he doesn't have to do another lap? Nah, I think he will keep going. So, round the final corner, Netsky, I think he's got the gap. He is barely in the ERS, nor does Corner. Will he regret not going for that move on the other lap? We'll see what they've got to say in the interviews afterwards. But it is Netsky who wins from Corner and Kazizel. Hopefully we can chat to them after the race for once. But Daniel finishes fourth for Ferrari. Baraka in 5th. Valtters ahead of Luca and Isu in 7th and 8th. And then Recon and CC Brain, who did get into the points in the end on those soft tyres. And Suko has left the session straight away. And I have a feeling you might see a message pop up in the PSGL F2 chat saying, who hit me? Because I'm not 100% sure what went down. Because Luca had his dramas and then Suko had his dramas. And it caused utter mess. I think Isu was probably the biggest gainer out of all that. He ended up 8th. And that's a decent run for him actually in the end. He's made 10 positions, as has Recon. So good runs from them. But it is Netsky who has won here in Zandvoort. Held his nerve and kept the lead on the last lap when he was under pressure from Corner, who will take second at his home race. It is his first podium of the season. So a decent result. Maybe he felt it could have been more, but it's done now. So he'll take the podium, and let's see what lap time. Oh, he's got no front wing. I was going to say what lap times Reese are going to do, but he hasn't got a front wing to do it. So he's just going to be crawling round. Will he pit, or will he just... Yeah, he'll just
He's
pit
got
it,
fastest
so...
lap anyway.
Oh, I know, but yeah, I thought he was going to maybe go for another quick one. I'm sure that was his intention, but well. No front wing then, as he finishes the race.
And Izu gets driver of the day in game, but I'm sure there's plenty of other drivers that have got driver of the days as well. But that was a very interesting race in terms of strategy. First different winner of the season out of the ones that are racing this season, because Valtters has taken 2, and then we got Netsky who has taken 1, but he's only a reserve driver, so I wonder if that's sending alarm bells to the rest of the field saying if a reserve driver can go in and take the win, maybe I can as well. And if Netsky becomes full-time, maybe he could be a championship contender as well. This is a Netsky that I've known for quite a long time, because I've commentated on him in another league last season and he dominated that one, and I was quite shocked to see that he didn't go full throttle until now, really. So he definitely deserved this win today. Started P2, and it's the fourth race in a row where we've had the driver that's not on pole did not take the win, and the person that started on pole did not have a good race. Actually, no, he's in 7th, but so not too bad. So we got Netsky from Cornet, from Consizzle, Daniel, Baraka, Valtters, who will probably take the championship lead. Then we got Luca, Izzo, Recon, and CC Brain. Then outside the top 10, we got Suko, Gil, Brock, Ashbest, Heather, Benny, and Riza. Your final finishers. Then your retirements are Fabi, Valentine, and Kareem. Only 3 retirements, only 1 track limit penalty, and Recon ends his run of DNFs and gets his first point of the season. So a good job from Recon. His DNF streak is now over, so he could get his championship underway now.
So Luca just confirming there that he actually did have front wing damage at the end of that race. So we saw him hitting the back of Baraka, and soon that must have given him the damage. That's why he was being caught like mad and got caught up in all the last lap drama. And yeah, that just explains that small issue. But yeah, hopefully we can see what the top 3 will have to say. Because they don't tend to always join our interviews, do they? They're not always interested in speaking to us. Well, to you mainly, you ask all the questions, but it's still, they never really.
It was mainly Fabi last week, wasn't it? It was mainly Fabi, and nobody else, and everybody else was like, "No, I don't want to talk to you." I'm like, okay then, but it's not compulsory, of course. But we would have liked to have seen the drivers. We'll give it a couple more minutes actually, because Idle does not want to be interviewed. And Recon is quite happy that he hadn't had the DNF today. I would be happy, to be honest, with the bad luck he's had this season. But I have to say, a few stellar performances out there from the likes of Recon as well, gaining positions off the start. Izu as well, he was flying under the radar. He had some issues at the start of the race and came back to finish in the points. So a double Red Bull point scoring there. That'll be good for the constructors as well. I think Izu and Recon had a good battle towards the end of that race as well. So they must have been happy with that. Is anyone still waiting? No, I doubt it so far. I'm guessing they may not have mics for Discord. If it was on PSN, it probably would have been a different story. But anyway, next week, I need to double check where we are.
Monza.
Monza, yeah. Thank you. Because I would have forgotten otherwise. Again, following the real life calendar for another week. Turn 1, I think, is going to be chaos next week, I would say. But I'm sure we would have some great action nonetheless. Again, another track where we could be prone to rain. But another track that I absolutely love commentating on this game. We could see another close qualifying because it is a temple of speed after all. Most of the lap could be taken full throttle, obviously apart from the braking zone into turn 1 and 4. Some of the braking zones you only need a little dab and then you're fine. So should be another good one. Looking forward to it. We may see a change in the championship leader next week, but we will see, of course. And it'll be the second race in September. So we will see if Valds can get another win. We'll see if Netsky shows up because he's a reserve. We'll see if Netsky could get another win. And could we see another different race win? I do believe we have some Italians in the grid as well. So could we see a home race win there? This should be another good race. Let's hope we don't get a similar situation to today where not many people set their final laps due to traffic. But Monza is prone to that due to the tow. So we will find out if... hopefully we'll not get an anti-climax finish to the Monza qualifier next week.
Yes, hopefully. I think we're more sensible than the real-life drivers, so we'll have good qualifying. And, yeah, I should have a good race as well. I think the championship is getting quite interesting now, because his consistency could be so crucial. Third place of the season. So we'll see if he can perform in front of the Tifosi.
Yeah, and to be honest, I think consistency does help. Take Balino Alexander, for example. He didn't win any race last season. He scored points in most of the races and a lot of podiums, and that's what helped him win the championship. So I wonder if that could be the sign of things to come for the Ferrari driver as well. He's scoring good points from the constructors too, so that'll be brilliant. So no one is wanting to talk to us in the interview box. So I think we're just going to leave it there. We don't want to blabble on for too long. So make sure you check out the F1 stream, which is going on right now. They're coming towards the end of their qualifying session around Zandvoort. And we also got F5 and F6 going on right now as well. We got Luke Etheridge and Mark Alemonda taking you through the F1 action, and all the other commentators you can find out on Twitter. So make sure you subscribe to us on YouTube, of course. Click the red subscribe button and turn notifications on and like this video. We're almost on 8.5k subscribers, which is insane. So if you haven't already, make sure you click the subscribe button, and we will see you next week. Thank you, everyone, for joining us once again in the commentary box, as always.
It's a pleasure.
And we will see you next week, same time, same place at 7 p.m. BST for the Italian Grand Prix. Have a good evening. Goodbye.